Hello, today I am going to do a lesson on how to do a small group for distance learning. I use Zoom, however, I'm sure you could use any of the platforms that allow you to work in a small group with students. You could possibly do this with a whole group as well. I've just found personally that it works very well to work with a small group. So I choose a text that's at the level of the group that I am working with. It really depends on what resource you're using. At this moment, I am choosing to use Raz Kids. You could write your own story. You could find it on Teachers Pay Teachers or any of your online programs. What I would suggest is a small 1 or 2 paragraph text that has multiple phonics lessons depending on what you're trying to teach and some sort of comprehension lesson. So for example, this one, the comprehension lesson is compare and contrast. And the group that I'm going to start with would be a group that needs to still work on their phonics, their decoding and reading strategy skills. So what I would do with that group is read through the text, have them whisper read it as I read it the first time, or silently read as I read it. And then I'm going to stop and pause at words that they may not know and help them to figure out what reading strategies they should use in order to identify those words and their meaning. So this is what I would do with my group that is not quite yet reading at a second grade reading level. You can choose to use the tools that are on here, or the Zoom tools work really well as well. Either way that you choose to use would be fine. So if you're choosing to use Zoom, you can annotate and use the tools up here. I found that that works best. Any other platform, I'm sure you have the same types of tools that you could use. I found that the tools really help the students to understand exactly what it is that we're concentrating on and which things I am asking them to focus on. So as we read, I might read such as I would start like I always do, where I preview the text. I ask them what they think this text would be about. So they would answer crocodiles or gators, and if I ask them why, they might say the title and the picture here. So that would kind of give them a little bit of background knowledge. And then I would begin to read, and that will also help them to read. The two hardest words on here really are crocodiles and alligators. So if they use the picture and the title, that's going to help them identify some of the important information there. Okay, so crocodiles and alligators are alike in many ways. They look almost the same. They have short legs, long, and then I might pause at this word depending on your group. So this is just one example of what you could do depending on the text and the phonics skills that you know that this group would be working on. For my group, I might focus on the AI. So what I would do is underline the word, and I would think to myself, okay, well, what could I do to solve this problem? I could stretch the word out to ills. Well, that still doesn't make sense. So then I might pause and do a quick phonics lesson with this group off to the side. To do that, I use the text feature box, and then I write the phonics that I would like them to focus on. I try to use the same color as what I'm underlining so that they can really see exactly the pattern in the story as they're reading it. So for this phonics lesson, I would do AI. So then I would explain that when two vowels go a-walking, the first one does the talking. So in AI words, it usually says A. And then I would give them some examples. And I would have them take turns reading the words that I put on the screen. Ain, ain, ain. And that would lead us back to this word, ales. And then we would be able to repeat the sentence. They have short legs, long tails, and webbed feet. Another example that I would use in this one would be I would talk about the chunking strategy and using words that have suffixes such as ed, ERS, if there was an ING word. And then we might do a quick phonics lesson on the side about ED and how ED can say ed, or it might make the D sound or the T sound. And for this one, I might choose a different color, such as yellow. And so then we would go through and try and find words with ED and read those texts. Now that we've practiced webbed, that one has the D sound at the end. Closed. So the main thing that I would focus on is reading and doing phonics with the group that needs the phonics skills or the reading strategies. We might be asking them to use the pictures, to sound out the word, or to use the sentence to help them make sure that the sentence makes sense. Same things that you'd be doing in your classroom, but you can do it right here on a short text. And I've found that using the tools right here keeps the students just as engaged. Then once we're done with the phonics part, I would have the students reread the text. You can have them whisper read it or do it on their own. Or you can read it aloud yourself now that they have a better understanding of each of the words decoded in the text. This is when I would then focus on the comprehension. So you can clear all the drawings on the page, or you can just try it with a new drawing color or text. So for this one with compare and contrast, there's a variety of ways you could do it. You could draw a poorly drawn Venn diagram, which I have found does not work as great for me because my electronic drawing skills are not the greatest. Or you could do a variety of different things. But what I like to do is go in the text and talk about the topic sentence, and then find ways that they are alike and use the tools here to underline, and find ways that they are different. The other way that I engage the students and check their comprehension level on an individual basis is I have them go down, and if you're using Zoom, it's a chat feature. If you're using a different platform, there probably is a very similar thing. So then in my chat, I set it so that it's to host only with these buttons off to the side. And so then I mark host only. So the students are only writing to me. So then if I ask a question such as, how are crocodiles and alligators the same? And the first one I would do, just like in class, I would model it. I might say that they both have short legs and long tails. And so then I would ask them to text me. I make it clear to the students that we are learning together, and if they do not understand, they can type, I do not know. And so the great thing about this text feature is I can immediately see as they message me who understands the comprehension and who does not. If one of the students writes, I do not know, I find a subtle way to chat with them individually. I might say, okay, so let's look at the text. So if they have short legs or long tails, they also both have, and sometimes I use the features to help do the talking. I do a lot of the thinking out loud. Usually that helps the students who are struggling here. And if not, we continue to do the entire thing together. I make sure they understand that this is a learning time and that is okay. But this chat feature also allows me, if I'm with a group that does understand, within a few minutes you can tell if they're ready to move on to a more challenging topic, such as main idea and details, or making inferences and context clues. All of these same concepts, you could do any comprehension and any phonics skill, just choosing a different text to match. I've done this for about 4 to 5 weeks now, and I've been able to use a variety of comprehension skills and a variety of phonics using this same pattern. So this is just one strategy, one way to do small group reading instruction during distance learning. Thanks for listening.